Matt Damon's anti-fracking movie financed by oil-rich Arab nation. That doesn't mean I'm saying out-of-control fracking is a good thing in some areas not being done properly and damaging valuable water supplies, important water supplies, aquifers that are national treasures. What it does mean is this is how monopoly capitalism works, insider systems. Because the big oil companies, it's come out, actually finance the fake environmental groups to shut down new refineries and things to create a bottleneck on the glut of oil to keep prices high. While they criticize the environmental groups publicly, they're actually financing them. And it's the same deal here. They don't want us to be energy independent. North America, not just the U.S., is swimming in oil, swimming in natural gas, and swimming in clean, burning coal. We have the largest clean coal deposit in the world, but Bill Clinton in 1997, look it up, laid, what was it, over 4 million acres of it off limits, the biggest deposit in the world. The only other big deposit is, you guessed it, Shicom, China. And do you know what happened to the Chinese government-controlled company within 1 month of Bill Clinton doing that with an executive order back in the late 90s? Their stock and profits just absolutely went off the chart. You can go look that up. So, if memory serves, like a doubling in the stock in just 1 week. I mean, it's insane. Over the next month, their profits exploded. This is how things work. Obama shuts down hundreds of power plants. Now it's going to be thousands of coal-burning plants. Hundreds of them. Thousands more to be shut down. That's the head of the Energy Department just said that earlier this year. And then gives waivers to his inside buddies, like General Electric. And what happens? Well, General Electric can charge you. Well, here in Austin, it's what, double now what it was just 5 years ago. That's the Austin American Statesman. But they go, it's for the earth. And now Austin's announced they're going to shut down the final giant, modern Fayetteville plant that Austin owns. Shut it down. They actually say in the paper, it's for the earth. No, it's not for the earth. It's not for the earth. It's for the insider power companies that are raping the living daylights out of us. And Matt Damon, I wonder if he's just a well-meaning liberal sop, always being used by cold-blooded globalists to destroy America. Or is he really just again, super cold-blooded himself? Because I like Matt Damon. I mean, I like him in the Bourne trilogy. I think he's a good actor. I don't know Matt Damon. I know people that know him. They say he's a pretty smart guy. So I got to say, tentatively, looks like you're an evil bastard. All right, I'm sorry. I'm going to stop right there. Listen, they don't intend to let us have real alternative energies systems and technologies. They're going to give us little unpractical systems they own and control. They're going to shut this country down and phase in over the next decade the equivalent of $10 a gallon gas, and that's been stated. And they say they want to bankrupt this country. Do I need to play the clips of Obama saying that? He wants to bankrupt coal? The globalists don't control coal, ladies and gentlemen, because it's diversified. And that's why they're going to shut it down. We might as well just give the globalists coal. Then maybe they wouldn't. No, see, still their instincts are to shut everything down. They are feudal lords. They are into oligarchy. Study that historically to understand what they're up to. Now, speaking of oligarchy, speaking of feudalism, let me just give you a condensed historical breakdown of feudalism that is the political system in every civilization of the last 6,000 years. In every civilization until the Renaissance 500 years ago. I don't care if you're Asian. I don't care if you are Mesoamerican, which is really Asian. I don't care if you're Caucasoid, Negroid. It doesn't matter what group you are. Black, white, it doesn't matter. What so-called, subgroup of humanity you are. What breed. Every human culture, after it got up above tribal groups bigger than 10,000, every single group, every culture was feudalist run. Now, what is feudalism? You have a ruling royalty, and then you have a group of lords, sub-chiefs. And they always develop a system where they keep a subclass as slaves or indentured servants on tiny pieces of property and make them hunt and fish and gather and plant in an agrarian system to deliver the majority of it to the ruling class. And then the ruling class finds out that if you ever get healthy, get enough food, get enough energy, enough money, that you will become uppity. So they learn very quickly to keep you down and to keep you dumbed down. And they would generally use the next door tribe as the threat to say, hey, they're worse than us. If they take over, you're going to be outright slaves. So we have a warrior class that serves the chiefs and the head chief, the lords, and they will protect you if you give them your daughters, if you give them your fealty, if you submit to them. Now, that is the modern system that the globalists want to bring back. They want to get away from the real modern system of the Renaissance, liberty, freedom, lots of small businesses, industry, artisans, a culture that admires beauty, because it's a competitive society. And all the camp followers of the oligarchs, of the royalty, of the insiders, of the monopoly men, they have always instinctively hated and feared real competition. Okay? They don't like competition. As the founder of the Rockefeller dynasty said, competition is a what? A sin. So when you look at the Obama phone lady who sounds like a cross between Sam Kinison and a Muppet, I've got to get that as a ringtone. I'm telling you, I want that. When you look at this woman and you look at other people, I mean, there's dozens of these clips, and I want to dig them all back out because I'm only seeing two of them circle the media. I want to go dig out because I looked, someone couldn't find them. You saw it during the election and all those rallies, women collapsing 4 years ago saying, I'm going to get a free house, and Obama would say, yes, you are. I mean, there's stuff 10 times worse, literally. We've got to dig that out and get it up in articles at Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com because everybody out there has these two clips. And I went and looked. I know they've been taking these down because I can always find stuff. I remember the names of the clips. They're gone. Maybe just because 4 years have gone by and people have lost their YouTube accounts over time. You know, they go dormant and stuff, but we need to dig those up. But you need to understand, I'm going to give you here today the rest of the story on the Obama phone clip we're going to play here in a moment. Because, you know, we sit here and go, oh, look at this pathetic lady, you know, dumbed down, begging for something free from the government. The media is trying to spin it and say, oh, this is an old policy. Yeah, there was a welfare program where if you were in a rural community, you could get a landline paid for. If you're a disabled vet or something or disabled old lady, I'm not against that. The issue is it's cell phones and smartphones so the government can contact and organize these people, and they run ads advertising the free phone, $1.6 billion a year. So it is a government program of free goodies. And when you hear how pathetic this woman is, I actually did some looking this morning. Because I'd seen the numbers over the years, and I knew that illegitimacy in blacks, whites, it didn't matter, in the 1950s was less than 10%, single-parent homes. I did the research. You can pull this up yourself. It turns out blacks had less illegitimacy than whites in the 1950s. White people had more children out of wedlock than blacks. Now, 92%. This is the federal numbers. You can pull these up. 90+%, 92% on average. It varies year to year, but it's always above 90, of blacks are born out of wedlock. Now, 50+% of whites are born out of wedlock. The globalists admit they want to get rid of the family. In slavery, you're not allowed to have a family. When the Romans had white slaves out of Western Europe, they didn't allow them to have families 2,000 years ago. There's slave manuals that were adopted in the Americas for blacks that are Roman slave manuals. You can look that up. Alex Jones here with a very important announcement for truth seekers. We've carried a lot of amazing films and books over the years on the online video bookstore at Infowars.com. And out of all the titles we've carried, one stands out because it is just so chillingly convincing. And that's Dreams from My Real Father by Joel Gilbert, available at Infowars.com. This film exposes the fraud that Obama is like nothing I've seen. If you want to know who Obama's real daddy is, this is the film for you. Don't forget, your purchase supports our broadcast and our growing media network. You'll also find at InfoWarsShop.com None Dare Call a Conspiracy by Gary Allen, the book that woke me up. We're also carrying Behind the Green Mask, UN Agenda 21 by Rosa Corey. This book is coffin nails to the globalist takeover. The Greater Good, the most professional and up-to-date film I've ever seen exposing the scourge that is vaccines. These titles and a lot more are all available at InfoWarsShop.com. You don't need any thought control. Public schools nationwide, I have the articles here, are asking students, do your parents spank you? It's not illegal anywhere in the United States to spank your children. That's why schools have had corporal punishment. It works. Many mammal species, including whales, deer, will discipline their young when they don't listen because they will be killed. I've seen mother deer bite their fawns, kick them when they walk out into a field where there are hunters. I've watched it. I've watched on Discovery Channel, mother seal spanking the baby seal when he goes over by the breathing hole of the killer whales. And the nanny state wants children to be out of control so they can then have curfews and checkpoints when society breaks down. This is the oldest trick in the book. You've got to wreck a society before you can totally take it over. And while this has been going on under the eugenicists the last 90 years or so, they've been taking over the society as they go. But now what they're saying is the state can spank you or taser you, that they admit kills people in many cases. The government can rubber bullet you, taser you, shoot you if you have a pen in your hand waving it around. But your parents, well, they can't say no to vaccines. They can't say no to abortions. You're just there to provide the state with a child. And that ties into the welfare crowd that after generation have been turned into jokes, who now become the CPS agents, who now become the police. They're now recruiting the police, CPS, the TSA, a lot of them out of the welfare ranks. And you're like, why is this person so stupid? Why are they on a power trip? Because they're not just going, got me an Obama phone. A lot of these TSA people are like, I'm God. I'm going to rape you right here. I'm going to grab your breast in public. I'm going to steal your iPhone. I'm going to break into your medication because I'm God. 5 years ago, I was on welfare. Now I got me a badge and a blue uniform. New Jersey high school students planning cafeteria boycott to protest Obama guidelines. Federal rules. They're not guidelines. You want the federal money? That's the state money. That's the citizens' money. That's the free money. Where'd Obama get the money for your free phone? He got it out of a fund as some free money. You know, the whole clip goes on and on. These people are completely disconnected from reality, and the globalists are almost game over. They've got more than half the public one way or another, not just the poor welfare zombies, but they've got the defense contractors and all the government workers and the rest of them. And they're now raising the taxes, raising the property taxes, taking over. That's why we're a tyranny. Because we put our kids in government training camps to be dumbed down and to be taught the state is God. Of course we're in trouble. Look at this. Delaware law bans parents from spanking their kids. And it says any pain, including verbal, is abuse. And so the pot-bellied pedophile government's going to come take your kids, who's 7 times more likely to sexually abuse them, 5 times more likely, just department numbers, to physically abuse them. But that's okay because they're above the law because they're God. Because they got an Obama phone. I got an Obama phone. Delaware law bans parents from spanking their kids. New American Magazine up at Infowars.com. Look at this. Virtual house arrest ordered in minors in East St. Louis. Same place they got the Army patrolling. It says police will also perform ID checks on street corners and gun searches of everyone at checkpoints. This is in CBS News. Minors on the street during school hours will be arrested on site. Yeah, I've been out with my little kids. You know, they're pretty young, at the grocery store or at the swimming hole, and people walk over and go, what are you doing with your kids? Supposed to be in school. I'm like, why don't you shut up, you un-American trash? They don't go to the government training center where they inject cancer viruses in people. Or they'll take my kids off to have an abortion after some pervert teacher rapes them. They got daytime curfews going on in other areas of the country. I mean, this is it. Oh, parents can't spank them. Kids are now out of control. That's all right. The Army will run checkpoints. This is the degeneration of society.
Do you understand how dark it is? How far down the line we are? How late it is?
We're here. 12 noon to 3 p.m. Eastern. Radiating out on over 120 AM and FM stations, blasting out on XM 166, Global Shortwave, WWCR, and, of course, streaming video of the radio show and a 5-camera shoot with video clips, documents, you name it, at prisonplanet.tv. Then we're back weeknights, 7 o'clock Central with InfoWars Nightly News that I host at least 3 nights a week. We have 7, 8, 9 reporters. We are certainly building our media organization thanks to all of your support. We are not funded, not 1 red cent, by taxpayer money. We don't get any banker bailout money or stimulus money like MSNBC, who demonizes us and basically says we should be shut down, along with Media Matters run by the White House. We are funded by you supporting our sponsors. I'm going to get back into the dependency culture, why they want us poor so they can control all of us, so that we're so poor we can't have any opposition to social engineering in just a moment. But I just wanted to add the success or failure of our mission to awaken not just the United States, but the whole world to the globalist master plan, and the rest of the story, because we're one of the only big voices out there telling the truth. The success of this mission is up to you. And that's why the books, the videos, the high-quality water filters that are discounted at InfoWarsStore.com, all of that is what finances this organization. Supporting our sponsors, supporting our local AM and FM affiliate sponsors, sponsoring us locally. Whether you're listening to us in Chicago, on 1530, great new affiliate, or whether you're listening to us in Dallas, Texas, whether you're listening to us in Los Angeles, however you're listening to us, it is so important to support those local stations as well. The new magazine, we've sold, I don't know, what is it, 20,000 of them in bulk. You can buy them in 10 packs up to 100 packs at cost. At cost. And you can go up to the site right now and buy 10 packs up to 100 packs at cost and get the word out. The new second issue, InfoWars, The End of Humanity, Rise of the Robots, how the globalists plan to put the machines in, the smart homes, the tracking chips, the self-driving cars that will then forcibly replace humans. They're already saying they're going to then claim that they're safer than letting humans drive, the total control grid, the financial collapse, DARPA, the real Skynet. This is an emergency transmission. Those are some of the articles in the new issue, and it is powerful, ladies and gentlemen. You can also sign up for a year subscription for $59.95. That's 12 issues plus the first issue, so 13 issues. The shipping is included. This is at cost. At cost, we're selling this because it's just a great tool. A lot of people won't read a book now, but if you hand them a cool magazine / newspaper style, it's really a magazine, but it's on newspaper paper, high-quality newspaper paper. You hand them something like this, they are so apt to end up reading it. And it's got lots of little factoids and blurbs and incredible graphics inside of it. Let me show people some of my favorite graphics in here. These are my concepts that then the incredible graphics crew came up with on this particular page. I'm particularly proud of the cover. And then also we've got the Guy Fawkes, You Are the Hope, powered by Infowars.com poster inside, and so much more. Now, here it is. Rise of the Robots, End of Humanity. I am extremely proud of the artwork in here, but most importantly, the information contained in it. This is the big picture. This is the rest of the story. So InfoWarsStore.com, and our success rises and falls on what you do and whether or not you support us, and you are supporting us, so thank you. These are great tools to wake people up. So you can sign up for a year subscription, not worry about it again, have the 13 issues delivered to your door. You can also give gift subscriptions. Just go in, sign up for it, put the address in you want it sent to, and let your friends or family know it's coming in the mail. You can also sign up to have it sent to your local library or your local public school. These are info weapons, ladies and gentlemen. And when you're done reading it, hand it on to someone else, because the information in here is evergreen. And this is our answer to the internet kill switch, is going physical. It's just a new tentacle on our Hydra here. InfoWarsStore.com. Okay. Let me get back to the Obama phone lady. If you just joined us, I'm just going to let it speak for itself and then give you the rest of the story. Let's play the Obama phone lady one more time. This is the most viral video in a long time. And why is it viral? Well, because DrudgeReport.com put it out. And the reason I marvel about Drudge is it has more power than even the mainstream globalist media to actually force things out there. And the system absolutely hates it. They absolutely are tearing their hair out that things like this can be seen. That's why I'm going to get Watson on the line in a few minutes and tell him, because I failed. And I know it's coming into show tips emails right now. I know there's more than 20 clips I've seen probably of people saying, I'm going to get a free car. I'm going to get a free house. Oh, thank you, Mr. President. There's even a clip of it. Is it Obama deception or Fall of the Republic? We've just got to get those clips, and we've got to create an extravaganza video showing that this isn't just an anomaly. Because they've got White House operative groups out there implying this is racist to show this. Racist? What's racist is taking people that had less than 10% of their children out of wedlock 60 years ago and now have 92% out of wedlock. And by the way, you sit here and laugh at this poor woman. I mean, it's funny at a levels because she sounds like a Muppet, but it's sad. In fact, I even thought last night, I may not even play that, but I know I got to. I've got to play it because this is the horrible result. It's like showing kids in school, you know, when they're 12 going into puberty. Well, I guess they go into puberty at about 7 now because of the stuff in the food. That, hey, this is what gonorrhea looks like. Look out. This is what genital warts looks like. This is what syphilis looks like. But this is what the big government looks like. This is what it does by design. This isn't some accident. In fact, I'm going to do a piece tonight on the Nightly News because I can pull the quotes up. Years ago, I said, hey, have you read the textbooks in college saying the family's a disease and has to be gotten rid of? And they want to dumb us down. People are like, oh, let us see the proof. So I went and found like 15 examples of it and put it on air. I mean, they say they want to dumb you down. And you're getting the rest of the story in a moment. Because I listen to Neocon Talk Radio, and it's better than so-called liberal stuff because they'll at least admit this is destructive. But they're like, yes, the liberals are idiots. They don't know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. They're not liberals. $22 billion to ship General Motors to China and Brazil. Shutting down the coal power plants as power prices just explode nationwide. I'm actually in the worst city in the country where they give them UN awards. We showed this in a special report by Aaron Dykes and Miss Melton last week, Melissa Melton, where they admit Austin's the model, where they've doubled our prices in the last 5 years. Started under Bush, because it's a globalist agenda, and now it's accelerating under Obama, who's going to do more. Yes, you're right, ma'am. He's going to do more because he's a teleprompter reader. You notice Mitt Romney saying, hey, don't expect your taxes to get cut much or maybe at all. And the Federal Reserve, the foreign bank that runs this country, the foreign consortium, that's just its shell corporation holding company. It's out there lobbying at all the universities, big law firms. They've got tens of thousands of hired, paid PR people at the Rotary Club, the Mason groups, all of them. They go hire the minority leaders, all of them, to go out and push how great the Federal Reserve is. And they invite community leaders to, free dinners, to sit there and all feel like they're big insiders to hear how it's good to shut down our power plants and it's good to have big government and how globalism's to redistribute wealth to the poor, to raise everybody up. And the average good old boy sits there who's got a business, thinks he's an elitist because he's been invited, thinks, well, I guess it's okay then. This is the shutdown, the post-industrial world. The globalists say they want to shut things down. They want to make you poor. And again, the rest of the story, it's feudalism. I've got to dig this up. It was about, 12 years ago, I came across it. I think it was a Thomas Sowell editorial or something. I'm going from memory. And I went and dug it up and actually found it in mainline references and confirmed and found large sections of a 1730s manual translated out of French that had been translated out of Latin for the sugarcane plantations of the Caribbean. And the book had been translated out of French into English to teach the colonies how to keep their slaves under control. And there were other articles that went along with it. It's like, don't be nice to your slaves, you know, stop, trying to build them up with your Christian charity. That's going to get out of hand. What you need, because, a lot of slave owners were, it was more like indentured servitude, because whites came here. Most people that are here that are Caucasian, you came here as a 7 to 10 year signed on slave. They could put you in prison or kill you in some cases if you tried to run off. That's what sharecropping is, but they didn't call it slavery. They called it indentured servitude. Bond servant. That's what the Bible calls it. And that's always been the way of the world. But they found the best way is don't tell you you're a slave, just give you a tiny piece of property you don't really own and take, 10, 20, 30% under feudalism of what you got. But don't ever let somebody get independent. Don't let a indentured servant or a serf have a weapon. If they have a knife for work, it can't have a pointed end on it that could go through your armor. These are laws. I've actually been in London and seen their museums where it shows serfs' knives and things, and it'll show knives with the end off of them. Everything looked like a meat cleaver because you weren't allowed to have a pointed end. If you had a dog as a serf, it couldn't be a hunting dog, and they would cut off 3 of the digits on their front feet so they couldn't chase the king's deer. And and in Europe and in England, and Japan did this too, they called the serfs the little people. The 6'4" white people that run Mexico, you ever looked at their Congress in session? It looks whiter than Germany or something. A lot of them are German and other groups. And they call the Hispanics down there the little cockroaches. That's the name for the Native American mixed Spanish, German, Austrian. There's a lot of German and Austrians down there. That's who later colonized it, Maximilian and others. You folks didn't know that. You might want to look into it. But the point is, all of that's Austrian-Hungarian Empire ran it for a while. So that's what's going on. And so every culture calls the peasants. That's why in Silence of the Lambs, the first one, he's telling Clarice, I can see from your bone structure, from where you came from. Oh, this area, I bet you worked, family was coal miners, weren't they? Oh, yes. And people say, oh, you couldn't guess something like that. Yeah, you can if you know enough about different types and things. And that's what all this globalist profiling is about. Globalists bred all the breeds of dogs we know. They're into breeding. They're into social engineering. Okay? Breeding went on with slaves. Breeding went on with Gaulish and Germanic and Visigoth and Vandal slaves for the arena and for combat. All of this stuff is ongoing. And so we're being socially engineered. And in this phase, do you think the system liked the fact that there were black communities and black businesses and industries that were becoming extremely powerful in their own colleges? And I'm not saying it should be segregated. No. I'm just saying they didn't end segregation to empower those people. They destroyed the black colleges. They destroyed the black-owned businesses and the black doctors. They destroyed it and took a community that was sharp-dressed, educated, informed, that looked down on people like the woman we just showed, and they did what you've seen. I was talking to somebody high up at MTV just recently, and they described how there was anti-establishment music in the 90s, and there was a directive overnight to end it and to bring in destructive gangster rap to destroy the black community further and to export it onto white kids and to Hispanics, and they've done it. That's the culture now, is gangbanger. So the kids all dressed like this. The cops are trained they're the enemy to induct you into prison. It's like, here, wear this enemy uniform so we can put you so we can put you in our private prison owned by a narcotics trafficking megabank. This has all been scientifically done. They've re-legalized slavery, but to do it, they've got to ship drugs in and have rules where if they catch you with their product, they put you in their jail. And so the rest of the culture can be told you're bad and dangerous. They sell in the public schools, having the gangs beat up the black, white, and Hispanic and Asian kids until they're forced to join the gangs tentatively. So then the cops can enroll you in the gang program and take your rights. Then you can be sent to juvenile hall for even being late to class now 3 times in places like Texas. Your parents can't spank you. You go to juvenile hall, you learn how to get gang raped, you learn how to get tattoos, and you learn how to rob, and you get out and have a criminal record. You can't have a job now, so now you're a criminal. Or maybe you didn't get a criminal record before you became an adult, so they hire you as a cop. This is the new total conversion to evil. And it's been done scientifically. Domestication by design. So when I hear neocons on radio going, we don't know why these liberals are so dumb. You know, Chris Matthews, he doesn't have blacks at his wedding. You know, look at the video of thousands of people at his wedding and not one black person. Or look at how, folks, it's much worse than that. Margaret Sanger, I didn't just believe this a decade ago. I sent off to the universities and got the copies from the big foundations, Colgate and others. They said, we got to kill these inhuman weeds. We got to abort them. We got to exterminate them. Man, we got to kill these people. How do we do it? I mean, these are quotes. Well, just pull up Margaret Sanger. I mean, she got awards from Hitler, gave awards to Hitler, and they call her the liberalest woman ever. Oh, we love you, Margaret Sanger. Got to raise money for Planned Parenthood. They said, we're going to pose as liberals. We're going to hire the black leaders. We're going to finance them. And we're going to get rid of segregation. And we're going to destroy their culture, then take that destroyed culture and dominate culture with it. We're going to get people to accept abortion in the name of killing blacks, so then we can kill everybody. And that's what they've done. Everybody that laughs at the pathetic, some of the pathetic black communities, or some of the other pathetic poor communities, that's for you, buddy. You can run to the suburbs all you want. They're going to cut your power off. They're going to jack up your prices and tear your roads up and force you in, okay, to the new prison domestication economy. They're going to grope you and your family in prisoner training at the airports and in highways. They're going to tell you when to freeze. Everything you've seen that's been done to blacks, that was just set up with a group they thought was weak culturally, who people just look down on. They always target a minority first. It's for you. This is dependency. It's meant to kill us. Alex Jones here with a message to fellow freedom lovers. The prognosis for the entire planetary economic system runs from bad to worse. The globalist model is to shut down societies and starve patriots out until they acquiesce to the global takeover. That's why we've assembled the most vital and important preparedness items at InfoWarsShop.com. These are items that I did research on, that I personally use. You've got the life straw, so you can turn fetid water into safe water anywhere you go. The K-Tor hand crank generator to charge up key equipment during power outages or out in the field. Strategic Relocation, 3rd edition by Joel Skousen. When Disaster Strikes by Matthew Stein. ThyroSafe, used by Homeland Security to protect yourself during any radiological event. Hand crank shortwave AM/FM radios. Everything that we've researched and found to be the best is available at InfoWarsShop.com, and your purchase makes our InfoWar possible. We're getting prepared. Are you? InfoWarsShop.com. And how you communicate with a dumbed-down, surly population. Some of the dumbest people, or willfully ignorant people, are the so-called intelligentsia. Because when you really start talking to them, you go, you know, this is a domestication program to reduce population and a takeover to society to make it more easily managed. And they'll go, yeah, well, so what? The public's dumb, they deserve it. But I'm like, the system's doing that on purpose. I had a caller yesterday. He's like, yeah, the government gave me Crohn's disease with a vaccine. It's on record, linked to that. But still, the public's dumbed down their useful leaders. Well, yeah, you need to lift these people up, and you lift them up. See, they don't go and give somebody a tax incentive or a tax credit to start a business. That's not what the federal, which is really a global government, does for poor people, period. They want you in public housing with CPS kidnapping your kids and doing medical experiments on them while you run around going Obama phone. That poor black woman. I mean, did she know in New York Daily News 6 years ago? She probably can't even read. That it came out that they take little black kids, the CPS does, and give them to big companies to test drugs and pesticides on them till they die. You're like, hey, lady, you know, the government shoots black people up with syphilis. The government wants to kill you. You know, all these top liberals, people like, you know, Dr. Watson, the discoverer of DNA, who calls himself a liberal, you know, he said blacks aren't human. Well, he gave me an Obama phone. No. He poses as a liberal so he can get up close to you and slit your throat. I got an Obama phone. You can sit there and laugh at the lady and go, well, I guess, you know. No, folks, they did that to that lady. And they're the ones posing as liberals when they're not. How many abortionists who've been confronted, Asian, white, even black, have been caught on tape saying, you don't want these ugly black babies, do you? What are you going to do, adopt black babies? See, I learned about eugenics reading history, but I've gone out and done debates against abortion on TV here locally. I've gone before and protested abortion clinics, and I've had the people pull up in their cars, and I've had the people come out, and I've had the Planned Parenthood people walk over and go, what are you going to do, adopt all these little black babies nobody wants? And I go, and I told you this story before the videos came out. This is what they say. This is like an automatic 1 of 5 things they say. You go, actually, there's people lined up around the block to adopt black babies. And you know what they have the liberal groups do? They go finance black groups to go out and, who are racist and say, and dumber than a box of rocks, to go out and say, don't let white Christian groups adopt black babies because they'll lose their black culture. What's the black culture? Worshiping your extermination? You'd rather the babies be chopped up than live with a white family. I mean, it's sick, ladies and gentlemen. Because, see, if you get a bunch of white people adopting black folks, that would really end all this racial division, wouldn't it? And, see, they don't want that, ladies and gentlemen. They want them dead, which is liberal. See, if I said abort and kill all the blacks, it'd be like, my God, put this guy on the cover of Time magazine as a liberal. They put me up there next to Martin Luther King. But, see, I'm giving you the big breakdown here. This is the rest of the story. I'll go pull the Margaret Sanger quotes and stuff again. I mean, you know, they've had her on the cover of Time magazine just 5-6 years ago, 7 years ago. How liberal she is. I mean, it's just a sick joke. Totally sick. Absolutely, totally, and completely sick. And I really learned how many of these people are conscious killers when I would be around big city TV, national television, and print media, and they'd be sitting there when a camera wasn't rolling, writing stuff. They go, aren't you just racist because you're pro-gun? And I go, what does that have to do with it? And I go, you're just using the racist to control people. You're actually a racist, aren't you, yourself? They're like, they just smile, give you this knowing look. They're mercenaries. You think real racists are running around with white hoods on their heads? No, they're coming to your house to help you. They're liberal. Oh, let me just stab you in the neck. I love you. Ask yourselves, what are you doing in this time of great challenge? What are you doing to unlock minds?